32 of Legacy Hot with Akinropo. Episode 32 with Legacy Hot with Akinropo. So, like I did say on Wednesday, right? That was the first episode for this year. And I did say that it's a continuation of the Legacy Hot with Parenting with Akinropo that I started sometimes last year. So we're continuing this year. But one of the reasons why this is coming up now, it's so simple. As you all are aware, that Legacy Hot with Parenting with Akinropo is on Ovation International Television on our TV decoder. And at the same time, in 3 other TV stations, Super Screen TV, Ben TV in the UK and Europe. Then the last one, which is this TV now, the Super Screen, Ben TV, and Core TV. Right. So just because that not many people may really want to have the opportunity to watch the program on all those TV stations because of our busy schedule. So I've really brought out this particular episode every week. We're going to be having it every week, like 4 times, 5 times every, minimum of 4 times every week. We're going to be having this just to like funnel down to discuss those episodes that I spoke about on TV stations. So for the benefit of those people that will not have the opportunity to watch it. So here we're going to be having the opportunity to watch most of those things that I discussed on Ovation International Television and other 3 TV stations that we have here in Nigeria and around the world. So I welcome you to day 2, which is episode 32 of Legacy Hot with Parenting with Akinropo. So I welcome everybody. Honorable Esther, you're welcome. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Adeniji. Wow. Pastor Mrs. Oluwatoyin Adeniji. Thank you. You're welcome. I can see you, Madam Kate. It's been a while. Thank you for joining us on this. I appreciate your time. Appreciate the busy schedule. In spite of the busy schedule, you still sacrifice, your energy, your time, and resources just to be on this show. So I don't really intend to take much of our time. Like I promised, it's not going to be. The duration is not going to be longer than 30 minutes so that we can quickly go back to our job, then at the same time to easily grasp the wisdom of every episode I discuss about here. So as you all can see from my timeline, I posted this a while ago that the topic is going to be engaging, and the topic is the concept of time in parenting and family. If there is anything that I've learned at all about parenting since I started this job effectively, not necessarily as a parent or as a dad, but as someone that has invested his time, energy, and resources just to better the lot of most other parents or every other parent that we see around. I've discovered that as a parent, we are likely going to get familiar with the job that we do as a parent. We are likely going to get familiar. And somebody said this sometimes ago, about 5 years ago. I've forgotten the name of the author now. I've forgotten the name. But it says something that's so germane critical, and I've decided to make use of that since then. The man said that what the mind is familiar with, the mind makes conscious effort. I think I said this in the last episode. The mind makes conscious effort to ignore certain rules that guide that thing. So one of those things that we are familiar with as parents, as coaches, as school owners, as teachers around the child is basically time. One of them is time. When you ask people, do you create time for your children? Okay, I will create time for them now. And people always say that, parents don't create time for their children again. Teachers don't create time for students again. Adults don't create time for the children that are under them again. Nobody has time for anybody. People are just running about time just to make ends meet. Fine, it's okay for us to create time. But guess what? what is that time that we want to create? Is the time that we want to create for our children as parents is just to be looking at them, to hold meeting with them, to be talking? Let's talk. What is happening? What has happened in your school today? What is happening around your environment? Oh, maybe they are in boarding school and they just came back and they say, oh, let's talk now. What is that thing that I had that has been happening, in your school? What about your friend? What about this? What about that? Is that what the time we're talking about is? That is not the time. But guess what? This is what most of us as parents, are familiar with. I want to create time for my children. Some people would have actually, left their job, their paid job. Some people had actually left even the businesses they're doing. They travel up and down, but just because they want to create time for their children, they left the job and they're at home. But sitting at home, creating time for the children is not enough if you don't have what it entails, to engage the time you are creating for them, right? So let me start by this simple story. I didn't know about this. Let me just be open. I got to know this is the concept I designed, the model I designed last year, just because of an engagement I had with many parents during that lockdown. And there's a particular one, and the person had actually given me the permission to share the story. So I'm just going to paraphrase the story. This is a family that created time. They had the time. Not that they are novice in parenting. They are not novice. They know what parenting is all about. They know what quality engagement with children is all about. So it's not somebody, they're not that parent that you get to talk to that, oh, let me coach you how to do this. No. But because of the familiarity with the with the word time, because of the familiarity with the word time, they didn't know what it entails. They didn't know what they should do. In the time they engage with their children. So what happened? Something happened during that time. During the lockdown, almost every student was at home at that particular time. Nobody went to school. Even most parents were at home. Market closed, offices closed, and we could see ourselves, right? So during that period, that was when the school now sent mail to the parent in the university, right? The two children. That was when the school now sent mail to them. They had a guardian concerning, that is to tell you how intentional these parents are. They have a guardian in that particular school that is watching over the children, that's always giving them the report. And not that the children lie. No, they don't lie. But, just to corroborate the parenting journey, the parenting aspect, all the content, that these parents have. Guess what? The report came, and it was reported that one of the children was actually engaging, in all manners of vices. I'm not going to mention the vices now, such that the school had to write to the guardian that you are the one that signed for these people. This is actually one. If this thing continues in the next session when they resume, they are going to tell them to go. And the guardian told them that it is so sure that by the time the school resumes, that they're going to tell that guy to leave, because that is just a kind of leeway. They didn't want to tell him that the guy has been rusticated. That when they send a letter like that, you can be rest assured the next letter that will follow is the final, the punishment. So they sent the letter, and the man called me. The family called me that, what is it that they haven't done? In the past 10 years, before these children even left us for boarding school, in the secondary school, they've been engaging them in a qualitative time. And I decided to I was asking them, what are those things? During those periods, what do you do? And they rolled out those things they do, how they did it, what they did not do right. They told me themselves. And I got home and I sat down in my library. And I just it's a kind of self-scrutiny. I gave myself that, am I really engaging my children, even me that they reported the case to? Am I really engaging them qualitatively in the time that I allot to them every time I want to engage them. And that was when we now sat down. And I told them that you've actually been engaging them, but certain things are not just in place. And this is the reason why you were not able to detect that one of your children has the tendency to go through or to go into these vices when they leave you. And that's why we came up with this model of T.I.M.E. 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 It is the PARENMARK concept, PARENMARK model of what time is all about. And I want to encourage all parents, teachers, guardians and counselors, and every adult around the children, around the precious children that we have, to really infuse to adopt this. They have the legal. I give them the express permission that anyone that wants to adopt this in the way they engage their children, in the way they engage the children in the school. The concept of time is what we are familiar with. But I want to deconstruct that now, and I want every one of us to pay attention to this, that creating time for our children is not enough. What do you know? So please, the word time has been broken down into behavioral steps that I want parents, that I want everybody to really pay attention to. The first one, the first letter there, which is T, is trust. Trust. T stands for trust. Regardless, like I always say, highly emotional content that parents have, regardless of the how enthusiastic that we have, because I see many of us parents, we are so passionate, we are so intentional, we know what we really want to talk about, we know them, how to engage them, we know it. So regardless of this, the question I want to ask before you engage your children in that time is, do they trust you? Do they trust that, if I open up to my parent, if I open up to my dad, if I open up to my mom, will she or will he believe me, everything that I want to say? That's one aspect. The second aspect is, do you parent, as parent, do you even trust them that they're going to open up to you? Do you even trust them that if you roll out your past activities as a dad, past activities as a mom, past activities as an uncle, if you roll it before the children that are under you, would they believe it that you actually did this? So the word trust is key. Is key. So if these children have not earned our trust, and if we are at the same time haven't earned their trust, the time we want to engage with them is almost meaningless. That's when they begin to just be doing like this, as daddy finished. Within them, they won't tell you. That's when they begin to say this, as mommy finished. They won't tell us. But if you really know the kind of the kind of facial language, non-verbal language, if you know, you will always connect or know that these children are not really connecting with you because the trust is not there. And if the trust is not there, the time is almost meaningless. So the first thing we need to do before we engage our children in time management or in sitting down with them is, first of all, build on the trust. When you know that the trust is there, that they can trust you with everything, they can talk to you about everything that happened to them while they were in school or while you were not around at home, or even while you are still under them, while they are still under us. Maybe they watch a TV and they just don't like about some things, or maybe they are going through one form of emotional flood or the other. Even before it gets to the emotional flood, maybe they are battling with emotions, from their friends, from their boyfriends, from their girlfriends. We need to know if they trust. Would they trust us enough to open up that this is what I'm going through? If that is not going to be there, my dear, please stop there and work on the trust before you begin to engage their time. The next letter there is I. Letter I. I stands for the mode of engagement in the time. Whatever you want to discuss during that time that you're engaging them, you must be really insightful and inspirational. Let me break that I down. So as parents, as teachers, as guardians, as counselors, as uncles, what do we know beyond what these children display unto us? Do we have the wherewithal? Do we have the technical skill to actually to get inward into their hidden curriculum? Some of us parents, some of us teachers, we don't know beyond the surface, beyond the superficial of these children that are under us. So if we are not really equipped enough with necessary tools, to have inroad into their heart, unspoken word, unspoken attitude, unspoken behavior, the relational tendencies. So if we are not knowledgeable enough, we are not adequately equipped, right, to really know this hidden curriculum about them, it is almost, the time we want to engage with them is almost, useless. Just like that thing that happened to my client. They didn't know beyond the superficial of the children they have under them. That is one of the reasons that they were not able to know that one of the children had the tendency to go into vices when they leave them. When they get into university, so immediately they get into university, those things now that have been bottled up now found expression. But what I see most of us parents say is, what is it called now? Peer pressure, right? We say that they didn't behave that way when they were under us. They did, or rather they did not, but there were instances that could have led us to know that this guy is likely to go into this if he lives under us. So, insightful, the time we want to engage with them must be insightful and must be inspirational. What do we know? Do we know many things more than what these children know? Do we know, even, let me say this, let me shock us, let me burst the bubble. Do we even know more than what Google gives? Right? That sounds great, right? It sounds strange. Rather, do we know more than what social media gives? Like somebody will always say that Google, somebody put those things in the Google that we Google to get the answer. That person may be wrong. My son told me this when he was about 6, I think it was 6 or 7 years old then. They gave them assignment and we were doing it. He couldn't find it. I said, go to Google. And we checked, and my son said it's not going to write what Google gave because Google may be wrong. That it will just leave it as it is and takes it to the teacher. Whatever the teacher says, if the teacher says is right, then it's right. But it will not believe what Google has given him. That is what he told me. So, do we even know more than or beyond what Google we gave? If we don't know, the time is almost useless. So, the time must be insightful and must be inspirational. What do we know as parents that can wow these children? That can say, wow, oh, my dad knows this. Oh, my mom knows this. Wow, this is great. So, it's a feeling they would always like to hear. They want to see that feeling that, so mommy knows this. Daddy knows this. So we need to get our acts together before we engage these guys. Then, letter M stands for 3 words. The first word in letter M is the time of engagement. Do we want to mend some relationships that have broken down? Do we want to mend? So when we want to engage these children, we must have our curriculum, stated out. We must have our content written out. We must have the agenda of the meeting. You don't just call them, oh, let's have meeting. And you begin to tell them the story of Mungo Park. No. Many of us parents will do that. I used to do that until I came up with this model of time that I have to open up. Until I came up, how did I come about this? Because a parent or a family engaged me to help them unravel what could have gone wrong. What is it that they did not do right? And the way they're raising up their children, such that a 19-year-old teenager was found going into, immersing himself, in some acts that were not, the parents, when they told the parents couldn't just fathom how did the guy come about this, right? So that time we must be able to know, write everything down. So if you are mending, go for mending in that meeting. The purpose of that meeting, the purpose of that time you want to engage with them is just to mend. Mend, oh, this is, you want to mend, oh yeah, I mend. Then the next one is, do you want to make up? Maybe they were fighting, maybe you did something wrong to them and you opened up, or they caught you that, Daddy, you did this, so what is happening? So you must be able to know, or mommy did this, or something happened within the children, or between the children. You must be able to know that, okay, I want to do this just to make up. So when you want to make up, don't mend. And when you want to mend, don't make up. Because 2 days ago, I discussed about communication, effective communication in parenting. Because too much messages clouded or cloud the reasoning of our children. When the messages are too much, when the content are too much, it clouds their reasoning. They don't even know the one they want to grab again. So if you call a meeting, you want to have a time with them, you want to engage them in their time, do you want to mend? If you are mending, go for mending. Do you want to make up? If you want to make up, go for make up alone. Then the next one, which is modeling. Modeling. Do you want to model a particular behavior, a particular core value in the life of the children? I've said this and I want to say it again. Every other thing we do around our children, they are secondary. The foremost aim of parenting is to reinforce positive value in our children. That is the foremost aim. I say that again. The foremost aim in parenting, the foremost purpose in parenting is to reinforce positive value in our children. So if we are reinforcing positive value in our children, there is no way we will not be modeling the right value. So when you want to engage them in the meeting, you want to engage their time, make sure that maybe you want to model, maybe you want to mend, you want to make up or model. So if you want to model a right behavior for them, right, then stick to modeling. During that period, it is not that period that you'll be telling them, you'll be opening their heart or their mind to something they did wrong 3 weeks ago or yesterday. That could have come under makeup or mend, right? But you have decided it's part of the curriculum for the meeting, it's part of the content for the meeting, and it's part of the agenda for the meeting. It is said that you want to model. So go straight for modeling. What do you want to model? Truth. The value of truth. What do you want to model? The value of love. What do you want to model? The value of integrity. Go for that. During that period, it's not the period you'll be, like I said, you will be talking about something they did wrong or something they did right. Go straight for that. And it's okay. Then the last one, which is E. E in the word time, letter E in the word time stands for engaging. Many of us parents don't have this attitude to engage our children when we are holding their time, or rather when we are holding the meeting with them, we want to engage them, we want to have something to discuss about with them. No, we don't. We just go straight to the point like this. We just, fine, I really respect us, I salute us, and I doff my hat, for us parents, that in spite of the challenges, in the day-to-day activities, social problem that we have in Nigeria. That's why anytime I want to engage parents, I salute their courage. That parents that I've worked with, I've never seen any of us parents that is lazy. No, I've never seen any of us parents that are not somehow intentional in the way we want to raise our children. But what has clouded our reasoning, what has clouded, our intentionality and the way we want to raise our children is because of the social and political problems that we face in Nigeria. We wake up as early as possible at 5 a.m. Some of us don't get back home at 10 p.m. I won't tell us to leave our job to face the children. That the decision to do that does not lie in me, right? So I salute our courage, but there's something I want to say. The time we want to engage our children, please let it be that time that they are most receptive unto us. I take that again. If you really want the time to be engaging, if you really want the time to really add value to us and add value to them, Please let us watch out. What is that time that they will be most receptive unto us? It's difficult, right? I didn't know that. But I got to know it through the daily study and, consistent research into the word, consistent research into content, consistent research into the way, into the behavioral tendencies of my children. That's when I got to know that there lies the time, there lies a moment, there lies a moment where these children will be most receptive unto us. So when we hit them, at the most they are receptive unto us, what happens? They open up, they talk. So if we want to fight this particular something that I said about engaging, how come some of us, when we pray, that we are seeking the face of the Lord? Remember, don't forget, the Bible says, some of us that are Christian, I'm so sure is in the Quran as well. So regardless of the line of faith that we belong to, that supernatural power that we seek, we must seek him when his face is around. That's why we always say, as Christians, we say that I want to seek the face of the Lord, because the Bible says, who can behold when he hides his face? When God hides his face from us, who can behold? Nothing. Our prayers will not be answered, right? So if we really want our children as well, to really listen to us, to really catch the positive values we want to reinforce in them, to want to do everything, that we want the time of engagement for them. We want that time of engagement to be effective, and to be a positive thing unto them. We must really locate the time they are most receptive unto us. Regardless of the time that we come back from work, let us know. At times when we come back from work, the children are not ready to listen. And that's where when we think that, I want to talk to them. That's the only time. No, it's not about when you have time. It's about when they are most receptive unto us. It could be in the dead of the night, around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You find those children, maybe at times they want to run around us, they want to embrace us, they want to talk, It could be that time. We may not necessarily want to talk at that particular time, but look into that. Look into that. Those times that they are most receptive. And let me say this. When you study their love language, when you know their love language, you will always know, the time they be most receptive unto us. Please let us work on this. Don't forget. T stands for what? Trust. If you want to engage your children, if they don't trust you and you don't trust them, don't engage. Work on the trust. Work on the value of trust for that engagement to be meaningful and to be impacting, right? Then the second one, which is I. The time, the letter I there in the concept of time stands for insightful and inspirational. What do we know as parents? What do we know as parents? Do we know more than what Google can give? Do we know more than what social media can give? Do we know more than what their friends can give? Do we know more than what apps can give? If we don't know more than what they know, the time we want to engage them, I'm sorry to say this, is meaningless. We must be able to equip ourselves. We must be able to have right tools to engage them. Then M, and I did say, don't mix this together. If you are engaging them, you are engaging their time. Do you want to mend? Do you want to make up? Or do you want to model? So when you are modeling, don't try to want to make up. And when you are make up, don't modeling. And when you are mending, when you want to mend, when you want to mend, don't make up. So let it be straight. And I said, too much messages cloud the reasoning, cloud the retentive memory of our children, and at the same time, they will not be able to connect with everything that we do. Then the last one, E, the time we want to give them must be engaging. How do we get this? The time they are most receptive to hear us speak. The time they are most receptive to hear us, to see us, to hear us, or to see us display the value unto them. And this goes for teachers, goes for school owners as well. Most teachers don't know this. Once they don't even know how to plug into the receptive mood of children, they don't need 1 hour time of engagement, 2 hours. They don't need it. The first 10 minutes, the first 5 minutes, what is the meeting all about? Once you plug into the most receptive time, the they have, then everything that we want to do is okay. It's just like placing the hot knife on a butter. It just goes in smoothly. Or placing a sponge on the water without any effortlessly. It will sink into the water and grab as many waters as it wants. So that is what receptive time, the receptive moment for our children will give us. So I want to believe that with this little time that we have, that I've shared this PARENMARK model of time engagement, time engagement in family and parenting, I want to believe that it will really help a lot of us in the way we want to raise our children, the way we want them to grow in quality value, in the way we want to impact in them, right value system so that they can benefit humanity, they can benefit people around them. It is not enough to just say that I want to create time. When you want to create time, write this thing out. Do they really match the T, the I, the M, and the E? If they don't match, reduce or stay put and work on this. I want to believe this will help us. This is January, and we still have a long way to go as long as these children are with us. So I want to thank you once again for your time. So if there is going to be any question or comment, I'm going to read them out. So please send your comment. Your question, contribution, and I will read them out. So while you are doing that, let me use this opportunity once again to remind some of us, perhaps we don't know yet, that PARENMARK Consulting Limited is on Ovation International Television, and the topic or the title of the episode is Legacy Hot with Parenting with Akinropo on Ovation International Television. Like today, Friday now, is going to be aired 3 times today. It's going to be aired 3 times today on our TV decoder. Legacy Hot with Parenting with Akinropo on Ovation International Television on our TV decoder. Many people have been calling me about the topics, about the episodes so far. In the episodes and the content there, the wisdom behind it have been helping them. So I don't want any one of us to lose sight or to lose the wisdom, to lose the positivity in contents of parenting that other people are engaging. Though that's the reason why we have a program like this, that I'm having this webinar. But you can still get to know them more on Ovation International Television. At the same time, some of us that have super screen, they're going to have it today by 5:30. Then a repeat broadcast is coming on Sunday. So if you are in the UK or Europe, or you know someone that is in UK or any part of the Europe, they should hook on onto Ben TV. Ben TV, they can watch it tomorrow, Saturday, 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. tomorrow, they can watch it. Then, again on Core TV, today 5:30 p.m. and a repeat broadcast on Sunday, 8:30 p.m. So I want to thank everybody here. So let me handle any of the questions. So if you have any question, please let me attend to them. I'll be glad to attend to many of the questions. Thank you, Mrs. Tolulope Williams, for watching. Mrs. Chiwatope Uluwadamipe, thank you. Enna Ogogo, thank you. I appreciate everybody. Mr. Badmos Abule Showo Abiola, thank you. It's been a while, brother. It's been a while. Hope you are doing good. And how is Madam and your beautiful daughter? I want to thank you for watching, for staying put. Thank you. Let me read what Prof is saying here. Professor Debo Alda, you said, what I'm taking home from this session is the difference between time and qualitative time. Thank you. This is perspective that I'd like that you brought into it. I think we have been inadvertently engaging in later instead of the former, and that is where your later instead of the former, and that is where you're carefully broken down. Thank you, sir. You carefully broken down time acronym is key. Deep and instructive, especially the letter T, which stands for trust, and you have rightly put it. Google does not know it all. God bless you. Thank you, Professor Debo Alda, for creating time to join us on this meeting. Pastor Lawrence Boniface, thank you. I appreciate you, sir. Mrs. Valentina Okose, I appreciate you, sir. Mr. Olumide Olaniyan, thanks for watching. Iyalode Akonke Olaubaju, my chief, respect ma. Thanks for watching, ma. Mr. Gbola Ojomo, I appreciate. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Mrs. Adejoke Adeyemi Olaniyan, I appreciate you. Sheun Akinleye Akinola, my brother, thanks for watching. Madam Kate, once again, I want to appreciate you. Madam Elster, all the way from Switzerland, that's great. Thank you for watching, ma. Thank you. You can share the video, share it, but it's still going to be here for the next few days. I'm not going to take it down. It's going to be here. So please, I want us to really work around that. Work around the time. Time engagement with our children is so critical. Don't be like that parent who really gave me the opportunity, the consent for me to discuss about what really transpired between one of the children and the school. Let your time be really engaging. Let it be qualitative, like Professor Debo Alda rightly said. So I appreciate every one of you. Next week is another moment on Legacy Hot with Parenting with Akinropo. So it's going to be episode 33 by next week. Monday or Tuesday is going to hit the airwaves. The webinar will go on. Thank you. God bless everybody for staying tuned. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Adedamola Balami. Thank you, my dear auntie, Mrs. Adeshola Adeosun. Thank you for watching, ma. Thank you, Mrs. Adeloyele Somi Elioluwa. Thank you. So the webinar has actually ended, but it's going to be here for people that just joined later. You have the opportunity to watch it later. Immediately after now, you can watch it. So I have to go now till next week. I want to appreciate everybody for your time once again, resources that you have put in to stay on this show. Till next week again, this is Legacy Hot with Parenting with Akinropo.